Hey everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Pod Guide, created to share the collective wisdom of everyday entrepreneurs who are bringing their visions to life, the ones in the arena. We've all read the same billionaire books, but what about the wisdom from the entrepreneur next door? The ones building, learning, failing forward, and figuring it out one step at a time. I'm your host, Britt Rodriguez, and every episode we're bringing you honest conversations, fresh insights, and lessons from entrepreneurs just like you. This is your place to learn, grow, and get inspired by your fellow business owners who are actually out there building businesses today, not just dreaming about them. So, let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today's episode is a powerful one. I am joined by Leslie Jones, a leadership coach with over 30 years of experience working with senior executives and heart-centered leaders. She's the creator of the Spiral Method, a unique approach to facilitation that helps teams unlock deeper connection, trust, and collective intelligence. In this conversation, we dive into what it really means to design your life with intention, how to move from burnout to purpose-driven work, and why most of us are unknowingly operating behind a mask that's keeping us stuck. If you've ever felt like you're working hard, but something still feels off, this episode is going to hit home. All right, let's get into it. Leslie Jones, welcome to the podcast. So happy to have you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Britt. I'm glad to be here.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, Leslie. Tell us what you do with the Spiral Method and what you're up to right now.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. I have been coaching since early 90s, a long time. I'm kind of aging myself. Um, I feel younger than ever right now, though,
Yeah.
except for all this technology. Um, and I work with senior executives and CEOs and just high level leaders that are committed to heart centered work, not just revenue,
Mm.
and that are committed to people. And Spiral Method is a method I designed over the past 30 years, but really coined it about 6 or 7 years ago. And I train others to be able to facilitate Spiral Method, which is a small group facilitation. Um, and you're a guide, not a coach. You guide and hold a space for people for the collective wisdom to arise. So it's called emergent facilitation, which is a fairly new term out there. But listening and being willing to go wherever the energy's going.
Nice. That's so
Yeah.
fun because the title of this podcast is the Entrepreneur Pod Guide, and I talk about collective wisdom. And so
Right.
it's all of us business owners getting together and sharing that collective wisdom. So that's really cool that you use those two words just then because
Yeah.
I very much am in line with those.
Yeah.
So you talk about in your work about holistic leadership and the importance of building those environments where people feel safe and seen and heard. Can you talk about a moment where, you realize that the trust and connection that you have between people is it's more important than just metrics, like you said, or profit? When was a moment where you realized that that's really what we need to focus on?
Literally, I don't know. I'm trying to see if there was an exact moment, but I know in my early 20s, I just have never bought into this whole system. Like, what are we doing? Working 40, 50 hours a week, exhausting ourselves so that we can someday sit on the beach? Like, no, I'm going to be on the beach my whole life. And I
Yes.
love to produce. I am type A. I want to produce. So, um, it was, back then really looking at how do I go into corporate America and talk about spirit? And how do I come back to Boulder and get some of these spiritual people in Boulder to produce some results? I didn't know how to do that. I mean, I was really like, I had to be really careful when I went into corporate and try to speak their language and then come to Boulder and be like, oh, Lord, we're all sitting on the top of a mountaintop, disconnected from this infrastructure we live in of capitalism or the society here. So I decided I am that bridge. That's my brand and that's my mission, is to bring these two worlds together of spirit or love and results. And where do people spend most of their time? In business. So why are our businesses focused on this mental, performance and pretense, where we're getting way less out of people and they're not happy, you
Right.
know? So I think that this younger generation, you included, and all you, I'm so inspired by the younger folks because I
Me
think you
too.
guys are evolved already in saying we're not doing it the way we did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think that's wonderful. I read a book called I Survived Capitalism and All I Got Was This T-shirt or something like that. I think is the title. Madeline something's name. I'll add it in. But it was so good because at the end of the day, I mean, I didn't agree with everything in the book, but I agreed with so much, and I found myself really changed at the end. And at the end of it, what I was like, you know what she's trying to say is like, and she's living in a capitalism system, right? She wrote this from California, and um, she was like, I guess like at the end of it, I was like, it's capitalism with heart. Like, and the heart's what's missing. So I find that really interesting that that's kind of your place and why you created the spiral method and why you have your business you do, because you notice that there's kind of a disconnect there. And you're that bridge. You help serve as that bridge to connect the two.
Yeah, and Britt, you're one of the things that I have in my coaching that I work with people on is that we get to design our lives however we want. We're so much more powerful than we know, and we've bought into all these ideas about how it's supposed to look. And so it's not that capitalism is bad, it's our relationship to it. It's
Yes.
right. That's where we have power. And so, like, I decided to work with senior leaders, and they're mostly white men, and I love them. They have leverage and they have money. So, whereas, like, going back to the Boulder conversation, there's a lot of people that were schlepping around trying to scrounge $10 or doing trades for chocolate bars and right, leveraging their wisdom and creating community, but not addressing the reciprocity.
Right.
Right. And on the flip side of it, we have money hungry, just making money and really using people and tapping out their life energy. So
Yeah.
I don't talk about this that much. So it's great to just open up this dialogue. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's wonderful. And it's obviously very, very important, like a very important need in our communities and in our society today. So that's awesome that that's what you're helping with. So, kind of on that note, so a lot of entrepreneurs, like, there's like that high performance and, work life integration struggle, especially, now that we all work from home too. What you know, advice would you give some entrepreneurs who, to really get them to go from busy to the purposeful and productive,
Yeah.
right? Because that's certainly a place that we get stuck, especially in the performance, society that we have, and that that busy is often referred to or referenced being busy, but instead of being like purposeful and productive, like you said, those 40 to 50 hours schlepping away. What's the point if you can do
Yeah.
it in 5?
Exactly. And I have books that I PDF books that I wrote like 30 years ago. I'm happy to share them. And they
Nice.
have a ton of material that's classic.
Yeah.
It's holding true.
Yeah.
Um but one of the distinctions that I use is called ideal calendar, and it's literally blank slate,
Mm.
back up and look at, I like to sleep in. And I wanna have, I used to wake up at 7 AM, go straight to my office, start smoking cigarettes, and next thing you know, it'd be 6 or 7 PM, and my husband would be like, "Hello?" So I used to, I was really bad. Um, and I utilized these tools to shift myself.
Nice.
Um, the working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, not only was it given to us as a paradigm,
Mm,
it also is part of what I call secret identity and mask. So
mm.
I used to get like I felt alive, or I thought I was valued, that my life was valuable if I worked that much. Production
Right,
was so right. So being
right.
busy and having a long task list all equated success, even though it meant exhaustion, and it was like the hungry ghost, like it never gets filled anyway.
Yep.
So we have to simultaneously do the internal and the external. Just getting your calendar in order doesn't mean you're going to follow it if this is still operating,
Mm.
right? And literally, like, a good example, I used to have a list of things to get done, and then if I got something done that wasn't on the list, I'd write it down and cross it off just so I could show my value to it. And then
I
I
literally did that today,
oh my
Leslie. I did
god.
it today. I was like, I have to add that to the list. I did it to make myself feel better.
Yeah. Yes. We all have this.
Point
So
proven.
if we say 90% of our lives are secret identity mask hamster wheel, that's what our
Mhm.
calendar looks like. It's all that's all a structure to keep this intact,
Yes.
leaving us unfulfilled, exhausted, and producing minimal results.
Mm.
Flip over our my job as a coach, and I see our job as good leaders and good humans doing our work, is to make sure that 90% of our calendar and our lives are with pure intention. And that
Yes.
means, right, we're present and we've designed accordingly. So we have to get honest about that to-do list and why are things on it,
Mm.
because a lot of them are this cycle, not this one.
Yeah.
And then the calendar gets designed around intention. And that means, like, yeah, I sleep in, I have A and B relationships, and the C and D ones I don't waste my time with.
Nice.
I have partners. There's reciprocity. I'm creating things like yeah, instead of doing sales, I'm looking for fun people to co-create with
Nice.
that generates revenue. Like, that's a whole
Yes.
different mindset, and that gives me a different task list.
Yeah, that's so fun. I love that. Like I've heard the phrase life by design before, and it sounds similar to that. And I love that approach. I've even done something recently like that. Like I love how you said you love to sleep in. And so you make sure that that's part of your calendar and you work around that. Like you work around your life and the way you want it to be versus having to fit stuff in.
Right.
And I think that's great. So I live in Orlando, and I love to go to Disney a lot.
Mhm.
Like I live 10 minutes from it. So I go, I get my workouts there. I just feel better there. I go walk around, have some social life, especially because I work from home. And so that has been I have kinda done without, like, knowing the term for it, I've been doing that a
Uh,
little bit. I've, like, blocked my schedule,
yes.
um, so I can go do those things that, like, light me up and fill me up, and, so I love hearing you say that that's something that you encourage people to do, to where they feel more fulfilled in their lives and in their work.
Yeah. And so just the ideal calendar distinctions, just to name that, it has to be workable, balanced, and inspiring.
Mm,
And so with just starting with a blank Excel spreadsheet, calendar style, and mapping out, well, what does that look like?
mm,
And then, like, what do I love to do? That if we love to do it, it's not working out.
right.
Right? It's just embedded in our routines as things that we love and people that we love. It's a whole different life, really,
It
than
is.
what
And
we've
do you
been
know that there are so many people who have never done that? They've
doing.
never sat down. And to anyone listening, if you have never done that, do what Leslie is saying here.
Yeah,
That is one of the most eye-opening things in the world to sit down and plan out your ideal
yeah,
day. And some people don't even allow their brains to go there. They don't
yep,
even know. I've worked with a lot of people I've talked to and like gone through that kind of exercise, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know." It's like
yeah.
they don't know outside of a 9 to 5 how to
Well, and
live their life.
this is why the secret identity piece is important, because we're secret identity and mask undistinguished,
Mm.
and I can talk more about that if it would be useful, but with that undistinguished, that's what's running the show, and that's what creates the calendar. So most people will come back and say, "Here's my ideal calendar," and it's actually they just crammed in a couple workouts, right? Like, so another way to access this is to just write down all your activities for 48 hours and then assess them.
Oh, nice.
That's another way in to increase the awareness around, how am I giving my life energy? What am I giving my life energy to, and why is
Yeah.
what we're trying to access here.
I love that. And so, for someone who doesn't even realize they're living in the mask, right?
Yeah.
And functioning like, separating, or I guess
Yeah.
planning their whole life around the mask. What are some things they can do to kind of realize, oh, this might not be me living the life I want. I might be living this for something else or someone else.
Yeah, well, so the I'll do the quick spiel on the secret identity thing. Because first of all, there's a cost. So exhaustion, feeling like something is off, any kind of pretense,
Mm,
saying, not being honest. I mean, really, on some level, not saying how we feel or what we need, trying not to lose things. All that kind of navigation is secret identity mask stuff.
mm,
Secret identity is some version of I'm not good enough. Mine is that I'm incompetent and unlovable.
mm.
So, like, I can say that freely now because I've done work with that. But
Yeah.
when I first someone proposed that, maybe your secret identity is you're incompetent, I was like, ooh, it's
Right.
the worst thing I could ever hear. Right. So that's the identifying that version. At first, like, we're just human. Everyone has one of these.
Yeah.
Everyone has a secret identity, and I'm not good enough. And then when we were very young, we made a mask to make sure no one found out.
Mm,
So what people say about us, that's our mask. And the question is it authentic? Am I fulfilled? I can get to the top of an organization like this by barreling people over, and I don't feel good about myself. That's my
mm.
mask,
Yeah.
right? And there's other ways to get to the top of an organization that are aligned with who I am and with my purpose and generosity and grace and love,
Yeah.
right? And so I love the example, like if your boss or an authority figure says, I need to see you in my office
Mm.
at 1 o'clock. We're not like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a raise. Right? That's your secret identity right there. And
There you
all
go.
that mechanism that arises is that's what's operating.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's just an inquiry, right? It's an awareness and an inquiry. And yeah.
I love that. Oh, man, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. I could just chew on that for a minute, honestly, and think about that. This episode is sponsored by our guest, Leslie Jones's company, The Spiral Method. If you're a leader, entrepreneur, or part of a team that wants to go deeper, beyond surface level meetings and into real meaningful connection, The Spiral Method is something you need to know about. It's a powerful facilitation approach designed to unlock collective wisdom, build trust, and create environments where people feel truly seen, heard, and valued. This isn't traditional coaching. It's what Leslie calls emergent facilitation, where transformation happens through guided, authentic conversation. Leslie works with executives, teams, and organizations who want to integrate both results and heart into the way they lead and operate. If you're ready to move beyond burnout, disconnection, and transactional work and step into something more intentional and aligned, you can learn more at spiralmethod.com. That's spiralmethod.com today. So I know that one of the things you do, you work with organizations and teams.
Yeah.
And for an entrepreneur, small business owner, there are still some that are, wearing so many hats. They may have a small operation. They may be a solopreneur at this point. But team trust and building that group trust is so important, especially to do early on. So what do you recommend for the entrepreneur that's working in a really tiny team, but they need to build that trust early on?
Yeah. Whoo. It's I mean, I think what's most important is as the leader that we know ourselves and that we're willing to be seen. I mean, if I had to narrow it down to one thing, that I'm willing to speak about my faults, that I'm not trying to hide them, that I would love to be delegating and having partners that are synchronistic with my shadows,
Yeah.
instead of trying to be all and to everything to everyone kind of thing.
Yes.
Um, when I screw up and make mistakes or misstep, apologize,
Mm.
clean it up.
Ooh, that's good.
I love this story I heard so long ago about a little boy playing baseball in the neighbor's yard and he breaks a window And if he goes over and says, or he grabs his ball and he leaves, that's one layer. Or he goes over and he says, "You know what? I broke your window. I'm sorry." That's another level. And fast forward to the real restoration is, "I broke your window. I want to pay for it. I have two companies lined up that I think are a good, would work well. Will you pick one and when is good for you?" That's restoration. They're probably going to let him play in the yard again.
Mm,
Right? And so the skill set, this interpersonal relational skill set of just being human together and honoring people,
mm,
um, being willing to be seen, like I'm saying, our faults, and also letting people have consent and choice
mm.
around their participation, and feeling safe enough to share their shadows with us. Like, we're human beings all working together. Why would we not have that be part of the dialogue? That's what
Yeah.
bewilders me. So, starting right with that off the bat, even if you're the one funding everything,
Yeah.
that that's how we create powerful teams.
That's awesome. I love that because like the choice is so great. Like giving people a choice. You may have hired them because they're really great at content creation, but if they also have like a strong passion for, you know, a little bit of sales, cool. Like, and if they wanna try some things out, I like that you welcome them because I'm sure they've never had that before. They get hired for one thing and it's like that's all they have to focus on. But that's a great tip.
Right.
The apology is also not like if they because we all mess up, we all do things wrong. There's nothing I personally respect more than a group or an organization, a culture that is very like you own your s-
Yeah.
you own your stuff. I call it just very bluntly owning your shit. And it's very important to me. I've seen both sides. I've worked with an entrepreneur who she was terrible at it. I will not say her name, but she was awful, and I had 0 trust in her. She would never, like, come back to and say, and we'd all like, the whole team would be like, "Hey, this is what happened. This is not okay." Would never take accept the, um, like, her crap that she did. And then on the flip flop, I've worked with another team that one of their core tenets was, um they called it radical responsibility, and I love that, and they're like, you own your things. Everyone owns their things," and it was the best group culture. No one was blaming anybody. Everyone showed up with a it was never awkward to be like, "Oh, no, that was me." It was, "That was me.
Yeah.
My bad, and
Yes.
let me fix that," and it was way more like because you weren't afraid of anything. You went
Yeah.
in and you were like,
Yeah.
this was me. This is what I'm doing to fix it. Exactly like you said with the analogy. And I think there's something immediately when I see a group working like that, it gains so much trust immediately.
Totally. Well, and to be able, right,
Huge.
to stay, yeah, or you're making me think of accountability, right?
Yes.
Accountability starts with us, not holding other people accountable. Like, it's not
Yes.
policing. It's a
Right.
culture of accountability where mistakes are appropriate. That's the norm. It's if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you can't just keep apologizing and expect, right? Like, we have to keep growing. We're evolving together.
Yeah, and it ties so closely with failure and being willing to fail, which is so important to success. And if you don't have a great culture of trying, failing, picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and going on again, you're really going to hold people up. Like you're going to hold your team back. It's going to be a more stressed team.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's a really wonderful part I wasn't thinking about in the trust building, team trust part is just being honest, owning your stuff and especially as the leader, how much that makes you feel as an employee to hear your leader being like, oh, guys, I messed up on this. My bad.
Well,
Here's what I'm gonna do.
Britt, the other thing is, vulnerability begets vulnerability and mask
Yes.
begets mask. So
Mhm.
one person can actually impact an entire team through
Yeah.
vulnerability. And vulnerability doesn't mean throwing up all over people, telling your whole life story, letting everyone know how angry you are from your dog this morning or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Vulnerability is that letting yourself be seen. It's from,
Yeah.
right?
And
From
it
here.
is contagious
Yeah,
in a
totally.
great way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That I
Yeah,
really love that.
yeah.
Um, Now one thing you talk about is systems like that, like the systems need to change, right? So like structure around the people actually matters.
Yeah.
So someone who's changing their business, they're scaling it, what what systems or habits do they need to build in so that
Mhm.
really they're building the systems that they want to really move
Good.
ahead?
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I've seen a lot is that we create systems before we actually know what we're trying to solve for.
Mm,
Or we're in a reaction, like, of some sort instead of an intention. Reaction, intention. So, the question I always ask is, "What is the outcome here that we're going for, both results and the experience?"
mm,
Right? Can we account for both? And so then look at what are the possible designs for this. And like I'm just first thinking like having recurring meetings, let's say, and having them be 45 minutes instead of an hour so we have margin.
mm,
So people can actually go to the bathroom, follow up afterwards, grab some food,
mm.
instead of working 8 hours straight in meetings all day without any margin, build the margin in.
Yes.
And that's for everyone, not just us, right?
Yes.
Most corporations don't do that, but it's such a simple little tweak to allow for some space
Mm.
because we're way more effective and creative and efficient when we have margin,
Yeah.
right? So that's just a quick example. But again, what's the intention? What results and what experience do we want to produce from these structures we're designing?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's so good. And so, like, obviously beginning with the end in mind, the goal in mind, and then building the structures that way, which is the way we should do it. And I love that. That's such a poignant, like, idea. So I just looked at like my partner's schedule this morning. It was exactly what you said. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
There's no room. And think about getting off like even this when I get off this call with you, Leslie, when I get off this podcast, I'm gonna have some time because I build in a 15-minute buffer. And what's so beautiful about that, say you have this big meeting, this important meeting, this important conversation, like as extroverted as I am, and I love to process things out there with other people, but having that time to be like, oh, that was good. Like I'm going to be able to get a lot more
Yeah.
from this conversation and my brain's going to have time to think about it versus what if I hop straight off with you and straight on with another guest?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, how much is lost there? And it doesn't achieve the final goal, which is what you're talking about, which is for us, great content, great story that we're sharing with people through this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I love that. I love that that's like a great
Yeah.
tip.
I want to say something else. Minimize our tools. Minimize our tools. I have sticky notes
Yeah.
and one pile next to me and email, calendar, right? Gotta love the sticky notes.
Love
But
them.
there's so many apps. It's part of the clutter. So decluttering
Mm,
is critical. And that's the margin allows us low, know your tools and stick with those tools and don't get too scattered or cluttered. And the margin is also allowing for decluttering,
yeah.
right? To say,
In
okay,
your brain
three
even.
actions, right?
Yeah.
I got three actions. One's in the calendar, one I just did, and the other goes in the folder for Friday.
Yeah.
Now I can be present in my next meeting, right?
Yes.
That's for us too,
Yeah.
versus this all day.
Yeah.
And then right now we're at the end. That's hamster wheel. That's the math.
Yes. Yeah,
That's complete
I'm
math.
hearing so many good things from you in the like I can think about I feel like so many organizations need your take because what I'm hearing is so much about how to really simplify so that the time that you are spending in in that proactive state
Yeah.
is really valuable and it's not, extremely overwhelming and you're not burnt out at both ends. I love all these tips you're giving is really helping people. I think it really would help people get from that crazy hamster wheel to actually something that like a schedule that works, that's sustainable, that produces great work. Like it's all these tips that you're talking about, all these ways of looking at work differently, looking at systems differently. I think it's incredibly valuable, especially in this day and age.
One, because you know what? This is it. This is it. You could get
That's
hit
it.
by a bus tomorrow, and we don't need to. We're not related to that as a culture, as a society, that we might not make it until retirement.
Right.
Our family, people, what people report is people. That
Mm.
that's what matters. When you're on your deathbed, we're not worrying about our production and our business or how we manage capitalism,
Right.
right? Like, and so that's my challenge for everyone. How do you design a life,
Oh,
that honors your purpose?
good. Yeah.
And then you design your structures accordingly and utilize your business to serve something
Mm.
for you and for others that's bigger than making money, you
Yeah.
know? And people love, if you love making money, that's great. Make that a game
Yeah.
and let that be a service. It's not about making money is bad. Like I said, it's a
Yeah.
relationship, all this stuff that makes the difference. And we're just unconscious,
All the time.
mostly running
Most days.
around, blah.
Yeah. Do you have a practice or something you just quick because again we are pretty busy, right? What like a great way to remember that each day or if we're in the middle of like a hectic day to bring in a little bit of consciousness to our day. Do you have like a tip for that?
Um, I don't know if you'll like it, but I'm
Bring it
just
on.
I'm laughing because someone today, I spoke with a 23-year-old this morning, and he said, I just stare off into space because I'm just thinking about all the next creative things I'm going to be doing at work. And it's 8 o'clock at night with his girlfriend.
Wow.
And he goes, I think that'll change when I get older, when I'm more successful. And I'm like, no, it won't. It's only
Aw,
going to get worse.
poor guy.
Like, we are the only ones that will design our lives differently. No boss is going to tell us to take extra time off usually,
Right.
or right? So I have it embedded. It has to be embedded in your life. It has to be embedded in your life. So um I was going to write a book along, or I thought about a great book title a long time ago called Running to Yoga.
Mm.
Like, that's not yoga, right? So, what does it take to actually be in nature, to actually be swimming when you're swimming?
Mm.
I dance 3, 4 times a week. I swim 3 times a week. I go on hikes. I think I had 16 days off grid out of 6 weeks over the summer.
Nice.
And so I've designed not only my days and my weeks, but also my months, because in my industry, November, December are low months. So I don't do sales and do a bunch of pushing
Nice.
in November and December. I go with the flow of what's happening
Yeah.
instead of fighting against it, because you produce less results anyway and you're going against the grain.
Right.
So this kind of stepping back and awareness, um, the a great quote connected to this is, the way we spend our days is the way we spend our lives.
Mm.
So if you can remember that, at all times, it's like, what is my life about? Yeah.
I just felt like the clench in my stomach that I just hold there all day, not even realizing. I just felt it release when you said that. Like,
Beautiful.
oh, that's good. Like
Beautiful.
that, and that is what a good coach does, by the way. Like when my upper abdominal clench can relax and release, I know I'm
So
talking to a
funny.
good coach. I'm telling you that is so good. What how we
Mm.
and it is what a great reminder. Just truly. And I'm like, okay, like write it on one of our little post-it notes. Just a little reminder each day. Like how we spend our life is how we spend our day. How we spend our days is how we spend our lives. And
Yeah.
um, that's so good. If someone Googled your company right now and landed on your website, would they lean in and want to learn more, or would they quietly say, yikes, and close the tab? Your website is your first impression, and it's either drawing clients in or losing deals right and left. Whether we like it or not, people do still judge books by their covers, and your clients are making decisions about your business before they ever even reach out. At my company, Archer Collaborative, we design high-end strategic websites for businesses whose founders are ready for their online presence to finally align with the quality and professionalism they bring to their clients every day. Our designs are not just pretty. We bring full custom layouts, clear positioning, intentional structure, and smart systems behind the scenes, so your site actually supports your growth. If your business is doing incredible work, but your website still looks like you built it at 11 p.m. 3 years ago, then it's time to let us help you. Visit archercollaborative.com today, and let's build something that is finally worthy of your business and its stellar reputation. So Spiral Method. So it's still growing. You're working in it every day. What's been the most rewarding part of it for you so far?
Um, well, I mean, I swim in um deep, authentic, connected conversations. That's my life. And I'm so blessed. And Spiral Method is it's so reliable. Like, I don't like to go to parties and I don't like small talk. And I love Spiral Method because there's a container and we have operating guidelines and we go deep fast and it's safe. It's sustainable and it builds over time. Very different than workshop culture, which
Mhm.
is uh, valuable in and of itself. There's value to workshops, but transformational, um, Burning Man, uh, all the different medicinals coming out, deep ceremony culture, any of that, transformational workshops, uh, that's not real community.
Mm.
Right? You come off of a high and then you're back to reality, and you need to do the integration work to actually really leverage that experience, or what I've found is it creates more disconnect,
Mm.
more dissonance. So I'm very actively tracking and starting to speak about that. Um we need integrated conversations. We need calibrated intimacy and trust.
Mm.
Real community doesn't happen in a weekend. Neither does real growth.
Right.
And there's value. So spiral method is that slow burn, but it's also like potent and
Yeah.
nourishing at all times. And so I am so lucky that that's where I spend my time.
Nice.
And now I'm just starting to do demos again and not worry about the money. Like, I just did a demo yesterday in my dance community, and people get into a flow state really fast. And
Mm.
one guy said, I feel like I'm on Molly right now. What's
That's awesome.
yeah. And it's just an hour and a half sitting around talking about real stuff in a container.
Wow.
So for me, that's what it's about. And I'll keep doing it till I die, no matter if
Love
I get
that.
paid or not.
That is the best thing to hear from an entrepreneur. And um I recorded another podcast earlier today, and it was that same answer. It's like what I'm doing, this that I'm doing, I love it. I want more of it. I'll do it. Yeah, yeah, like there's no sense of retirement when you love what you're doing all the time. You're not going to quit it. Because you don't have to do it. You're doing it because you want to,
Mm.
and you love it. So I love that that's what you get to do all the day. Now I'm gonna flip it because I think I already know the answer just because of what you said you love. What has been, or what's a challenge or a big learning curve for you in building the spiral method?
Well, yeah, and yeah, let me see if this is connected to the other piece. Results are still important, by the way. Um, the biggest challenge for me is is being in capitalism. It's relationships, or like the inherited automatic transactional assumption. Someone showing up like, okay, what you got? What are you going to sell me today? Like, oh my God, I can't. I'm not selling you anything. I'm going to invite you into something. There's magic happening. Um, so marketing and messaging, and I'm personally not building machine.
Mhm.
So I'm navigating, how do I build spiral in the collective
Yeah.
without buying into the machine mentality, because it's desperate. I've never used social media, honestly. Um my success has not come from great marketing and messaging and hamster wheeling it on social media. Like, and I only am left exhausted and
Mm,
feeling like I'm desperate and watching everyone else that looks desperate to me and capturing attention real quick. It's kind of the opposite of the work that I do and have
mhm,
always done, one-on-one or in groups. So that's a constant inquiry, and I have invested time and money in trying to play that game
right.
at some point. If there was a year there and I was working more than ever,
Mm,
and it was tiring. So,
yeah.
and then disempowering,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm also getting older, so I love having younger people around me that are just like whipping it out, but
Mm,
I still don't know if that's the answer.
yeah. I think that's such a good answer, and I'm glad you're honest about that, like, um 'cause I asked that question because I love for other entrepreneurs know that even though that we might love what we're doing with every fiber of our being, we don't often love all of it. And there's always like a flip side to like there's the passion and that's amazing, but it's not always like perfect. It's just life, right?
Right.
And so I love hearing what people find as a challenge in and so thank you for being vulnerable answering that. And
Yeah.
it actually your answer really blends with the next question I had for you
Mhm.
which is, um, it is about sales. So, Mark Cuban has a quote I love that is sales cures all. That's his thing, right? With business. And I know, he's a billionaire capitalist, right? And I know that like can be very different, but at the even you've mentioned here at the end of the day, results are important. Some, sales have to come, but from someone who's approaching with such a heart for what you do and, almost like a dream of, "I wish no exchange had to happen here, because I just want to provide
Yeah.
this." But unfortunately, we do live in that capitalist society. How does someone like you approach the sales and approach
Yeah.
the fact that your business does bring in money and needs
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
How do you approach that?
Yeah. Well, so, someone taught me a long time ago, uh, one conversation could be for $50, $500, $5,000, or $500,000. So
Mm,
the question is, who am I talking to?
mm,
Right? Do I want to have 100 conversations for 500 per sale, or one conversation for whatever? Do the math, right?
yeah.
So, um, I think the other distinction that feels important to me is that I want to work with people who are committed to doing the work.
Mm,
So there is naturally they want what I have, and I like who they are, and they're going to be both feet in. And so that's going to be a successful engagement.
yes.
So there's a relationship or a partnership that is much larger than I'm going to sell you something and then I'm going to deliver something because you gave me money.
Mm,
That's the transactional part of it. And so my business has been based on referrals
yeah.
for the most part. And we get referrals from people that are like that person.
Yeah.
So if we love them and they have money and they're well connected and respected, that's who they're going to send to us.
Yeah.
Right? And so this all comes back to the scheduling conversation
Mm,
and the knowing our purpose and what we're up to,
yeah.
and identifying then who are our ideal clients. And then that's who we talk to. The rest of it is noise
Yes.
and clutter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And misalignment. Because now that you're I love the way you explain the sales process in that way because sometimes like what you were referencing before, the part that doesn't feel good, it's like the icky sales process. Like, the only word I know to appropriately, describe it to me is like an ick feeling. And I love sales. I love it so much, and I love that you described it that way. It's like, "Look, I have this that I offer to this very specific group. These are the people I want to work with. These, when those people are in need and want what I have, that's the exchange. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a win-win all around. You get to
And then
support
you
them
great,
and
and
they
you
get what
get
they
to
need.
be authentic then. I mean, like,
Yes.
then you're like, I wanna serve you. Do you want my service?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here? You don't have to go in with any pretense or pitch, you
Right.
know? Like, I can't do that.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that that's your approach to it because sales can be very difficult for so many people because I
Yeah,
think that they view it through that icky lens and not the lens that you just described.
yeah,
So I think that's fantastic. So thank you for that.
yeah.
Um, so let's talk your business right now, like where it is right now. And then, Leslie, I'm chatting to you in a year. What are some of those results, goals? What do you hope to see from your company in the spiral method?
You know, my goal is to train as many people in spiral as I can so that every spiral facilitator can impact thousands very deeply and very quickly.
Nice.
So, um, I am I am leading a one-day workshop this week, which is the first time I've just done one day instead of a full certification, which is the year-long program.
Nice.
Um, but really all of this for me is about finding a partner who already has a machine
Mm,
with a large platform and large audience and partnering and bringing the spiral method and the intellectual property and my expertise to that, aligned partner. And
nice.
so I think what I'm playing with what I'm looking for right now is a community of 100 that wants to do an experiment with me next year.
Awesome.
And train 10 facilitators to impact 100 people and track that and do a case study throughout the year. So
Oh,
throwing it
excellent.
out there. If we're putting the podcast out, I might as well.
Yes, as you should. Yes, I love that. I love that idea. And
They can't be selling nuclear bombs or something. We have to be heart-centered community. But
heart
yeah,
center community is a must in
let's
this group. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Let's play.
Oh, I love that. I love your excitement for it and still your creativity you're bringing to it all the time. That's so fun. Because you've been in it for a bit, so I just love hearing like the ways that you can still keep it fresh even for you and learn new things as you're going each year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's awesome. Now I have a question. I love to ask. People love to learn in different ways, so I asked this question. I hopefully one of these resonates with you. So I'm asking for a recommendation for the audience listening. Um, if you could pick a book, a podcast, or it sounds like you're not on social media, so that usually the third one is a social profile, to recommend to the group here listening. What is one that you would recommend? So either a book, a podcast, or social profile.
I mean, this is the first book that came to mind is, The Presence Process by Michael Brown.
Oh, I've not heard of this. What's
Um,
this about?
I mean, it's a 16-week process to he says that the first 7 years of our life are our emotional development, the second, so 7 to 14 is our physical development, and then 14 to 21 is our intellectual development, and that we were all stunted in the emotional development phase, which kinda goes back to secret identity mask, and so he says that adults are dead children.
Oh,
It's like gives me the chills to say that. Anyway, it's a 16-week process. There's another book I just looked up to my bookshelf, and the other one popping out at me is called Existential Kink, and
oh,
it's around how we get off on our shadows, the things that we complain about all the time. We're actually getting something out of that.
wow.
Um, and so that's a quite a powerful book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one is Artist's Way, and you may have heard of that, and it's a beautiful process around creativity. So these are each, the internal work that entrepreneurs should be doing.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for those. Those are all different books I've never heard of, so I'm very excited to check those out, and I'll link those in the show notes too.
Awesome.
So two more questions for you, Leslie. One is if the entrepreneur is listening today, because you've given us a million wonderful things to think about and things to chew on, but if you had them take away one thing from our conversation today, what would you like to tell the entrepreneurs and have them take away from our chat?
I mean, it's this is it, stop pretending. stop messing around. Like, this is your life.
This is it.
Every moment is your life energy. So
Yeah.
be very careful how you spend it.
Yeah. Make that the most of what we have here. Cause
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. This is
yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's no phase two here. This
It
is it.
really and it not as a concept, as, like, a way of living.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I've yeah, every day is a prayer for me, like, it really, like, it's an honoring of life, every choice we make. So,
Oh,
like,
awesome.
honor yourself.
Yeah, and honor the life you've been given, it's
Yeah,
precious.
yeah,
That's
totally.
awesome. Thank you for that. And then so, Leslie, a lot of people might be really curious about the spiral method, and, may have woken up here realizing, like, they need to connect some of that love, that heart to, their business, to what they're doing every day. They might wanna learn how to build a life around what they truly want.
Yep.
So what for people who wanna follow along with you, who want to learn more, who want to sign up for things that you're offering, where can they find you? How can they reach out?
Yeah. I'm the spiralmethod.com website, there's a newsletter sign up on there, and,
Nice.
LinkedIn is another place where I'll be getting more active again. Um, and then there's, Insta is another place again that my team is gonna be doing some more posts, and we'll probably put this podcast up there.
Awesome. Is it the spiral method or is it Leslie Jones or both or
LinkedIn is Leslie Jones. Well, there's both on LinkedIn. There's
okay.
Spiral Method and Leslie Jones. And Insta will be Leslie Jones.
Leslie
Yeah.
Jones. Okay, great. And we will definitely drop all that in the show notes. So if you're listening, you can click on it there, and sign up for the pod or the newsletter. So I love that you have a newsletter as well. That's really helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Leslie, for taking the time. I have so much that I've learned. I actually can't wait to re-listen to this.
Yay.
Because you've already said something. I'm like, oh, if I wasn't hosting right now, I'd be taking notes. So I appreciate you taking the time and sharing, your wisdom generously with us and for creating this business to help other people really, make the most of this life. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Britt. Thank you as well. And you know what? Listen, I have a peer group with millennials if you want to come join us sometime.
I am in the millennial group. I count as that
Exactly.
generation.
I love it.
Awesome.
I said you guys are energizing. Thank you. Thank
Aw,
you. It's fun
thank
to
you,
talk to you.
Leslie. Thank you so much. Oh, that was such a great conversation with Leslie. And if you are like me and this episode got you thinking or maybe even rethinking how you're spending your time, your energy, or your life, you are not alone. Leslie shared such a powerful reminder today. This is it. This is your life, and how you spend your days is how you spend your life. If you want to learn more about Leslie and the Spiral Method, you can find all of her links in the show notes, including her website, LinkedIn, and newsletter. And as always, if you got value from this episode, make sure to share it with another entrepreneur who needs to hear it. That's how we keep building this community and spreading the collective wisdom of other entrepreneurs. Thanks for listening to the Entrepreneur Pod Guide. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Now go get them.